As MMDCEs, you will be judged by the cleanliness of your districts. A filthy town is not merely an eyesore, it is a public health hazard and an indictment on leadership. Sanitation cleanest district will be named, and the dirtiest district will be shamed. You must enforce your sanitation bylaws rigorously, including penalties for illegal dumping, open defecation, and improper waste.
Good morning.
We open this critical orientation and training program for newly confirmed Metropolitan, Municipal, and District Chief Executives. This moment recalls a similar occasion in 2013 when I had become president. Shortly after assuming office, we held a similar orientation in this very Institute of Local Government. And so today, I do so once more, not as a ritual, but as a serious engagement to charge you with responsibility and align you with our government's vision and mandate. This year's orientation is held under the theme Strengthening Local Governance Through the Reset Agenda. It reflects the core of our 2024 manifesto, Resetting Ghana, Jobs, Accountability, and Prosperity. Our nation, Ghana, stands at a crossroads, and your leadership at the local level is going to be crucial to determine whether we continue to drift or we firmly plant our feet on the path of inclusive growth and transformational change. And so the first thing I'll touch on is upholding public trust. So let me begin by congratulating each one of you on your appointment and confirmation. This is not a personal reward, it is a public responsibility. You've been selected from among many under Section 21 of the Local Governance Act 2016, Act 936, to represent the aspirations of our citizens at the local level. Your appointment reflects not only your competencies, but also the confidence reposed in you by the people through the electoral mandate given to our government in 2024. Expectations are high, and rightly so. The Ghanaian people voted for a bold change and for a reset. Your actions and results must demonstrate that their trust was not misplaced. I exhort you to eschew arrogance and inertia. After almost 6 months in office, the time for political celebration is over. The real work has begun, and you're expected to be effective, visible, responsive, and innovative. We have taken steps to transfer the highest amount of funds in the history of the Fourth Republic to you from the District Assembly's Common Fund. As the Finance Minister told you, 80% of the District Assembly's Common Fund is coming directly to you. We expect you to ensure the judicious and transparent use of these resources. The funds must be utilized in the interest of our people and not for our creature comforts. The Auditor General and other anti-corruption institutions will be watching your work. And as I've said previously, if any of these institutions start investigating you, you don't expect me to interfere on your behalf. In the meantime, I wish to remind you that you are among the office holders required to declare your assets. And so I expect that by July 15th, all of you would have declared your assets. I've given you enough time, haven't I? Honorable MMDCEs, the NDC manifesto outlines a bold and people-centered agenda that places local government at the heart of national development. You are the first line of implementation for many of our flagship programs. The 24-hour economy, the Clean Up Ghana initiative, Ejumara, the National Apprenticeship Program, Mahama Cares, Feed Ghana, and many more. These policies are not abstract ideas. They require structure, coordination, and leadership to bring them to life at the district level. The 2024 budget statement outlines our financing strategy and clarifies that decentralized development is our priority. We've committed 80% of the District Assembly's Common Fund to MMDAs this year to ensure that each assembly is resourced to meet its people's demands. Every assembly, from the least, even the least, the smallest assembly, will receive not less than 25 million cedis this year. These resources are to be applied in ways that reflect local priorities and medium-term development plans. Let me emphasize, our programs are not imposed by Accra. They must be domesticated, contextualized, and executed in collaboration with your people and your communities. We're conscious that MMDA's effectiveness depends on the strength of their internal systems and functionality of their substructures. One of the jobs that I charge you with is not only to lead, but also to empower and reform. Weak area councils, defunct zonal committees, and politicized assemblies operations must be addressed urgently. Our reforms have also included realigning the Ministry of Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs with the Ministry of Local Government, as the Minister was telling you. Creating a governance tripod that reflects our society's traditional and spiritual foundations. This model fosters a synergy, creates coordination and collective action across political, cultural, and spiritual domains. I therefore urge you to work with the chiefs and religious bodies in your districts and with civil society to restore the social contract with our people. The legitimacy and authority of the state must be felt not only in law, but in the lived experience of our people. MMDCs, you may be the last batch of MMDCs appointed. The National Review Committee is going round. I'm sure some of you would have been consulted, and it will present its recommendation in August this year. And one of the major items that has been canvassed is the election of DCs. There's no doubt that Ghanaians want their DCs elected. MMDC is elected. Several surveys have shown that they prefer to have your category of political officers elected. So you may be the last dinosaurs who are appointed. Those who succeed you might have to go through elections. Ladies and gentlemen, Section 12 of Act 936 charges MMDAs with coordinating all public sector and development partner interventions within the district. All ministries, departments, and agencies and development authorities must now align their projects with the district's medium-term development plans. This is meant to avoid duplication, waste, and confusion. Consistent with this, we have ministry development authorities under MMDAs and are working to pass legislation to grant greater financial autonomy to all local governments. These reforms are backed by the 2024 budget. Now let me turn to sanitation as a national development priority. Colleagues, sanitation is a national emergency that demands our urgent and immediate attention. The relaunched National Sanitation Day will go beyond just monthly cleanup campaigns. It will be a strategic citizen-led movement for behavior change, environmental health, and sustainable urban development. As MMDCEs, you will be judged by the cleanliness of your districts. A filthy town is not merely an eyesore, it is a public health hazard and an indictment on leadership. Sanitation will be one of your most important key performance indicators. International experience affirms this. For those of you who've been to Kigali, I should send you there one by one. The Rwandan government, through empowered local authorities and monthly community cleanups called Umuganda, has made the city one of the cleanest in Africa. In Singapore, strict enforcement of sanitation laws, waste segregation, and recycling have become standard practice. And in the Scandinavian countries, municipalities lead circular economy models that transform waste into energy, jobs, and revenue. These successes by these countries are not accidental. They are driven by committed local leadership, civic education, and accountability. And we must learn from these models. So your mandate on sanitation, you are hereby tasked to establish district sanitation task forces with clear responsibilities and regular performance assessments. You are tasked to mobilize communities, including schools, faith-based institutions, and market groups for cleanup, education, and inspection drives. You are required to partner with the private sector for waste-to-energy projects and sustainable recycling value chains. You must enforce your sanitation bylaws rigorously, including penalties for illegal dumping, open defecation, and improper waste disposal. Under the last administration, they passed a law to clean your front. How many districts are implementing this clean your front? If everybody cleaned the front of his house, it will make your work easier. And so if you can enforce it and make sure that those who don't do it are sanctioned, then it will make your work easier and your resources will go even further. We're working to include a national sanitation index in the local governance performance assessment framework. And so your district cleanliness, drainage, and hygiene infrastructure will be measured and published each year. The cleanest district will be named, and the dirtiest district will be shamed. Let your legacy be a clean, green, and healthy economy. Now let's be clear about sanitation services. We pledged to the Ghanaian people that we will implement a reset agenda, didn't we? This agenda applies to every facet of national life, including sanitation and waste management. Our current waste management model is not working because it has become highly centralized. MMDCEs have largely not been involved in the procurement of waste management equipment and accessories. They have also felt that supervision of sanitation workers and cleaners is not a part of their responsibility. We must therefore implement a more effective model that transfers full responsibility for waste management and sanitation to MMDCEs. 10% of your common fund in the guidelines is earmarked for sanitation. In addition, funds from the Communication Service Levy tax, which is administered by the YEA, will be decentralized to your districts. You will receive guidelines for transparently selecting your sanitation service providers through a competitive process. And listen to this one. You will be fully responsible for the process and also fully responsible for the outcome. Devolving basic services. As I stated recently, sectoral decentralization is non-negotiable. We'll devolve the Ghana Education Service to empower district directors of education to be able to supervise and run schools properly. The same will apply to other organizations, the Ghana Health Service, and also urban and feeder roads. Funding from the Road Fund, NHIS, and education sector budgets will be linked to local outcomes and priorities. Decentralization must mean control resources and results, and not mere rhetoric. Honorable MMDCEs, and this is important, you must work closely with your respective members of parliament. Leave behind political turf wars and focus on delivering development. Together, you must work to make the lives of your people better. We are one government, and when we fight amongst ourselves, it's the people who suffer. Your leadership will be tested this year and next. Your professionalism, your integrity, and vision must be visible in every corner of your district. And please, those with political ambitions, set them aside and concentrate on your work. Don't work to undermine your member of parliament. And so in conclusion, let me end with a reminder that this is not going to be business as usual. And to quote Albert Einstein, insanity is doing the same thing repeatedly and expecting different results. We're going to reset, we're going to reform, and we'll deliver for the Ghanaian people. Together, let us build a new architecture of local development rooted in dignity, services, and of course, results. And so on this note, I'm pleased to declare the 2025 orientation program for Metropolitan, Municipal, and District Chief Executives duly opened. I thank you, and may God bless our homeland.